Okay, I'm going to call the meeting to order. It is 5 o'clock. Welcome, everybody. Um, I am Bill Baker, and I'll be chairing the proceedings tonight. I'd like to introduce our committee first, and then our staff. Dan Sauvé, committee member. Doreen Lester, Matthew Child, Phil Pocock, and my staff here is Lori Chadwick, Director of Development Services, Joe Malandruco, Legal Services, Lori Chadwick, Planner, Planner and Development Services. Did I say that? Rita? Rita? Yeah. And Ian Rawlings, our Junior Planner. Thank you. I'd like to go over a few proceedings now in terms of how we're going to conduct the meeting. The meeting will be directed through the chair. All the agenda items will be acknowledged through the chair before discussion. The speaker are acknowledged through the chair, anybody to talk, and the public, anyone from the public may speak, and you'll be limited to 5 minutes. When you do speak, you'll have to go to the podium, you'll click on the button, and wait for the blue light. And then I just want to remember that the meeting will be live streamed on YouTube, and we request that you be respectful and follow decorum and speak only to the application. And I remind you that I will, if you deviate from the application and talking about, I'll remind you that we'll get back on topic, okay? Now, can I move to committee or to the staff to get the land acknowledgement, please?
We acknowledge that this land is the traditional territory of the Three Fires Confederacy of the First Nation, comprised of the Ojibwe, the Ottawa, and the Potawatomi peoples, and of the Huron-Wendat peoples. We value the significant historical and contemporary contributions of local and regional First Nations and all of the original peoples of Turtle Island who have been living and working on the land from time immemorial. Thank you.
Okay. Can I get a closed report, meeting for the closed report from last meeting?
The Committee of Adjustment moved into closed session on January 20th, 2026 at 5:05 p.m. to receive procedural training as permitted to do so pursuant to Section 239, 3.1 of the Municipal Act, 2001, SO 2001 C25 as amended, and that is the extent of my report.
I just want to remind that all proceedings and decisions are unbiased and without conflict of interest. And so I'm going to go to the committee and ask if there are any conflicts of interest. Hearing none, thank you. Can I get a motion for the published agenda? Accept the published agenda? Good. Moved by Doreen, seconded by Matt. All in favor? Good. Get a motion for the minutes of the January 20th meeting? Doreen? And Phil, thank you. We're moving into reports. The first report tonight is B 2225 County Road 50, Colchester Heights Development, and this was previously a deferred from October. I'm now going to go to Ian to present this application.
Thank you, Chair. The first application tonight is a returning application being B2225 that was originally deferred. It is the property 0 County Road 50 West, where the applicant proposed to sever 1.69 hectares to be added to the adjacent property to the west. Next slide, please. So the application was deferred on October 21st, 2025, to permit the neighboring landowners who have not been notified the opportunity to be notified of the application so that they may provide comments to the municipality and to allow all parties to have more information and clarification regarding the existing easement on the land. Next slide, please. So in consultation with legal and legislative services, the benefit and burden of the existing agreement has been identified. All benefiting parties and individuals who share an interest in the consent application have been notified of the application and its return to the Committee of Adjustment tonight. In reviewing the existing easement agreement and reviewing case examples that could prove precedents, the town is of the opinion that the consent is not creating any lesser rights to the residents than they currently have, and the town does not maintain the ability to decide on the adequacy of maintenance and operating terms on an easement. The town is of the opinion that as long as the severed parcels of land remain subject to the same instruments, my apologies, the staff report does reference our plans, but they are instruments, as the original land being R439115, together with R439297, the existing easement is deemed sufficient. Legal and legislative services further suggest that there shouldn't be a condition to amend the existing agreement, and that a condition to require a new easement to provide access and clearly state the maintenance obligations of the dominant and servient lands is deemed unreasonable as long as the severed land remains subject to the instruments that I previously detailed. Should any individuals wish to address the maintenance and operations aspect of the easement, this would have to be done so outside of tonight's consent application. Next slide, please. Now, notice of the public meeting and information regarding the consent was sent to all property owners within 60 meters of the subject lands, to all individuals who submitted written comments, to all that attended the September meeting, the meeting where it was deferred, and to those who have made delegations, and to those who have an interest in the easement on the lands. 9 public comments were received following the posting of the planning report and presentation. These comments have been forwarded to the committee members prior to today's meeting for further consideration, and these comments express concerns regarding rights of access and road maintenance. Next slide, please. Now, all agencies, both internal and external, were circulated once again of the application. And the Essex Region Conservation Authority expresses that they believe the application is premature in its time. And it is their understanding that the proposed lot addition is intended to consolidate lands for the future development of the Lips Beach residential subdivision, and that they do not yet have any studies to support the feasibility of a subdivision in this area. However, the town does not consider the application premature in nature. A lot addition is not defined as development under the provincial planning statement and does not trigger the need for any supporting studies at this time. The development of and review of any supporting studies will be addressed through the applicable Planning Act process, whether it's such as site plan control or another act, consent application or subdivision application. However, that is not what we're and the Essex Region Conservation Authority will be consulted during that applicable process when it starts. Now, the county has also provided engineering comments only, however, and they state no objection, but again, they are engineering comments only at this time. Next slide, please. Now, the planning department is recommending approval subject to our standard conditions for a lot addition. I'll leave this on the screen here for the moment. And the applicant does have 2 years to fulfill all conditions. Thank you.
Ian. Now I'm going to go to the applicant to see if we'd like to provide any additional comments to the application.
Mr. Chair and honorable members, we have no further comments. We acknowledge what the administration has just mentioned. We also acknowledge that this is a lot addition application. It's nothing to do with any development or rezoning. And we'd like to ask your committee to support the approval of the application, please. And I'm here to answer any question if needed.
Questions till after. Now I'm going to hear from the public. We'll speak in order that you put up your hands. Okay. Recognize Catherine to speak first. You have 5 minutes.
My name's Catherine Hingle. I live at 487 Lake Crest Court. I don't oppose the severance application to sever the property and add as additional land to the developer's property. My concern is for the right-of-way that is on that property. The right-of-way on that property services the 23 properties on Lake Crest, the beach road itself. It's our only means of ingress and egress and access to County Road 50 and to our properties. The administrative report suggests that those two instrument numbers that Mr. Rawlings has referred to adequately provide the easement for that right-of-way. And I'm going to suggest to you that if you look at those documents, they pertain only to the property at 435 Lake Crest Court, and they do not create any rights for any other properties. In addition, they are not on the title block for the applicant's property. Currently, there is only one document there that refers to the right of way, and it is instrument number 879117, and it is attached only to the property at 465 Lake Crest Court. I did on the weekend send to the administration and to the committee a little spreadsheet that showed all of the easements that we're subject to and together with on each and every property on Lake Crest Beach. And if you look at that, you will see that there are no two the same under the together withs, because our properties all say together with a easement that gives us the right of way over the applicant's property. In fact, I also provided to the committee the two easements that are on my property, 1078113 and 1078114, and those provide my easement over the right of way, but those are not named on the applicant's property. As I said, there's only two easements on the applicant property. The one is that one that I mentioned earlier, 879117. And the other is one for, I believe, to the town to put in the sewers and the water mains down all the way down to the beach. So my concern is that going forward, the next parties need to know that those properties are subject to the right of way. It's not sufficient to say, well, it's there. I mean, it's been there for a very long time. I'm sure the applicants could tell you better than I could. I'm going to suggest it's been there for more than 65 years. There's no discrepancy whether or not it exists. We all know it exists. I think everybody acknowledges it. What I would like is for the description that the consent is given to acknowledge the right of way and I'm not asking for additional rights, in terms that encompass all of the rights that we all have, not just the rights that 435 has by those two documents that have been mentioned, or that 465 has by the one document that's registered on title. I guess my suggestion would be, so that you're not having to rewrite the whole easement, because I understand that's not, I suppose, what they want to do, but they could certainly acknowledge that the easement exists and put that it is subject to all of those easements, all the instrument numbers that pertain to all the properties along the way, that the right of way is subject to that. It wouldn't give us anything additional. It would simply acknowledge that those easements, that right of way is there for each and every parcel on Lake Crest Beach Road, the beach road. Because going forward, certainly this new buyer knows that that right of way is there, but when that buyer sells off the property, the next guy's not going to know unless it's in the title block, unless it's in the consent. Everybody always goes to the last consent to see what they have, what the property's described as, and it needs to be described to include all of these easements that we have, that the 23 properties on the beach road have, that give us our right of access to and from our property to County Road 50. So I think that it is reasonable to include that. It's not creating any additional rights for us. It's just recognizing that those rights exist in the form of the documents in which they've already been referred to on our own titles. All our properties say together with. So it should be recognized that, that they're on the property to be severed. I'd ask you to kindly consider doing that. Thank you.
Are there any other, yeah, we'll hear from the public again, then I'll allow you to come back. Donna, thank you.
I'm Donna Monk. I live at 469 Lake Crest. My husband and I are not opposed, Kevin, are not opposed for a development. The only thing that we want is the truth and the actuality of what's really going to happen. I mean, I looked up the right of way and what it means. I can't find anything in the town. It's not on our title. And this is news to me tonight that Catherine brought up about there's only one home that's included in the easement. I agree with her. We have to all have that in somewhere in writing for all of us. My other concern is, I mean, I know the gentleman who's bought the property who would like to have it severed, is the maintenance of the sides of the road where the foliage falls on the road. And I don't know why, I mean, we don't own that part. That's on the side of the road. Who owns the side where, when the trees fall down, whose responsibility is it to pick it up? You know, we already had one fall down that just missed one of the neighbors, and us on the beach took the responsibility to take it off the road so we had access again. That's one of my biggest concerns, is that is it going to always fall on the landowners, the ones of us that live on the beach? Or I mean, the new owner, now the other side, I think, is owned by the town. So whose responsibility would that be? Those are my questions. And what is the land zoned for right now? Farmland, if I'm not mistaken. So has the zoning been changed? That's my other question. So what would the lake access for the new parcel of land, would the road stay the same? I mean, maybe these questions are answered somewhere, but I haven't seen them. So I would like, if someone could clarify all of this, I think a lot of us would feel a little more comfortable in saying yes. So that's my questions. Thank you.
Is there anybody else in the public that'd like to speak to this application? Yes, sir. Can you state your name when you get up there?
Little dry. Mike Kelly, 47 Lake Crest. What I have to say about it is that obviously these concerns are valid. They certainly have been something that's been overlooked in the past, and I don't think anybody's asking for too much. There are other issues involved in this. At least a couple of you I know have been down Lake Crest Beach, down our way. How did you get down there and how did you get back? It's one way in and one way out. There is no others. There's not that many, I don't think, along County Road 15, correct me if I'm wrong, that kind of fall into that category where it runs into a private road and the other road's owned by somebody else. Municipality owns a fair amount of them, as I understand it. But again, I could stand corrected. Our concern is obviously long-term. In the end of the day, it's making sure that there's no matters for opportunities for dispute later on about having to make things, they're not really in cost. They don't even cost a lot, as I understand it, to kind of make a fix to it. And the easy part is going forward as neighbors. It's a nice handshake. I know some of this is not your responsibility. I get it. And I know some of you probably feel for what it is we're feeling. But if any of this supports any of the arguments that were brought forward beyond this, I would appreciate if you at least weigh them in. And I'd like to add on top of that right now, that particular road we're talking about is in deplorable shape. It has some serious potholes in it that are going to have to be taken care of soon. So I'm sure you understand our concerns. We do our own road down at the end of the beach. We don't get lights. We don't get, I'm not complaining, pardon me. Sorry. I mean to go there. We're not asking for much. And if you can help, great. Thank you.
Anybody else in the public before I ask Mr. Habib to come back because he had a comment? Seeing none, Mr. Habib, you have a comment?
Kevin, I just want to clarify to most of the residents in the neighborhood. The application is basically just lot addition. We are acquiring the land and we're assuming all the right of way that exists on it. We will keep everything the way it is. Nobody's been compromising to his access. This step is a step for future development. Our goal in the future is to have some development in the neighborhood. I think that will be the stage where a municipal road is there and nobody will be complaining about these issues with the road and the maintenance situation. We're not in a situation to get involved into the maintenance, but we will honor any existing right of way. All those 20 plus cottages on the south, I'm assuming when they acquired the property or when they transferred hands between the owners, their lawyers, they must have registered through their instruments those right of ways into their deeds. Those are existing. We're not changing any of that. Nobody is taking the right of it, and nobody is compromising their access. All what's changing is the name. Instead of being Mr. and Mrs. Taylor, it's becoming a company name. Everything else is in accordance with what exists. Down the road, if the neighbors are willing to move forward and re-describe the existing right of way and they want to work, we will be more than happy to execute any transfer into the new structure. But we're not gonna engage into it at this stage because it's a matter that belongs to the residents of the neighborhood. But we will be more than happy to execute any agreement down the road if the neighbors decided that this is time to revisit the right of way and restructure it the way they feel like it's not being addressed. Beyond that, I just want to assure everybody that nothing is changing. You're not going to notice any difference other than title name change. And this is a step towards a better maintenance and permanent fix of the road down, working with the municipality, making it a municipal road. Thank you very much.
Given the additional information we've received now from the public, of the residents, I should say, new information, and that just came in yesterday, I would like to look for a motion under Municipal Act 239 2F, under Municipal Act to go into closed session to get some legal advice, legal opinion from our staff. So I'm looking for a motion for that. Good. Danny and Doreen. That's motion is passed. So now I will ask the public to, if you can just move out for a few minutes so we can get, sorry, I have to call a motion on that, period. Call a motion on the, call the question? Good. Any questions to the motion? Good, okay, thank you. So it'll be a few minutes, okay, thank you. Great, thank you, everybody. I'll call the meeting back to order again. Thank you for your tolerance on this. I'm going to go to the members of the committee and look for any questions. No questions from the members at this time? Good. Okay. Can I get a motion? Doreen?
To make a motion. Motion to approve with the conditions as noted by the municipality, by the planners, with the addition of a condition that the instruments registered as R39115 and R439297 remain on title of the severed parcel, and when the parcel is consolidated with the other lands, remains on title.
Dan, Sauvé? Any questions, comments to the motion? No? Okay, can I go ahead?
See how the vote goes, but I wasn't present at the October meeting, but I did review the video, and I think the sentiment was spoken of then, and it was referred again here tonight by Minister Habib. I did take a little bit of comfort. Challenge here is our ability under the Planning Act to sort of clean up the title issues that we've been hearing about. But I was encouraged to hear of the agent's offer in October and reiterated here that Lake Crest Beach owners could hire a lawyer to draft a transfer easement, and the agent would agree to undertake to execute a new transfer of easement, which is one avenue to address some of the issues that we've been hearing about. Thanks.
Okay, can I call the question? All those in favor of the motion? Okay, that passes. Thank you. Okay, thank you for that. Want to hear next is item 7.2, 7.3, 7.4, application B0126, B0226, and A0226, Maidstone Avenue. 1 second. Ian, can we hear the report? Thank you. Oh, just a little bit of water. Go ahead.
Through you, Chair. The next application we have tonight is actually 3 applications. It is for the vacant lands located at the southwest corner of the intersection between Maidstone Avenue and Peter Street in Essex Center. The property has recently undergone a severance, being application B2725, to subdivide the property for the creation of 1 lot. Now, this severance resulted in a new lot being a little over 6,000 square meters. For the southern lot, and the northern lot being around 2,000 square meters for the northern lot. However, a portion of the southern lot was conveyed for an extension of Bear Street. And so here we have the image of what these parcels look like today, or what they're intended to look like today. Now, just as a reminder, these properties are zoned Commercial District 1.1 and are subject to a site-specific zoning provision, which permits a number of additional commercial uses. And I can detail this further if the committee needs. And the properties do not contain any natural heritage features, items identified under the Ontario Heritage Act, and they're not located in a floodplain development control area. And they're also not located within IRCA's regulated territory. Now, next slide, please. So as I had said, we received 3 applications for these lands tonight. The first application is B0126, being the northern lot, which is highlighted in yellow, which proposes to establish a number of easements, proposes to establish an easement in perpetuity to provide access, services, and parking in favor of the abutting property to the south. And this is over parts 1, 7, and 9 on the draft plan that was provided, which I've also highlighted the applicable parts in yellow on the screen as well. Now, the second application we received is also a consent application. It is B0226, being for the southern lot, which also proposes to establish an easement in perpetuity to provide access, services, and parking in favor of the northern lot. And this is over parts 2, 6, and 10 on that same plan. Now, the third application we received is a minor variance, and I'll detail that after detailing the consents a little bit further in their policies. Next slide, please. Now, in terms of the policy assessment for the easements, when reviewing both the provincial planning statement and the County of Essex official plan, we noted that they do not provide specific policy direction for the implementation and execution of easement agreements for the purposes of servicing, access, and parking within commercial corridors and areas. However, both identify that settlement areas in which this is located are the focus of growth and encourages compact development to establish complete communities. And the establishment of the easements further encourages compact design and allows for the maximization of both sites due to the shared services, parking, and their access. Now, both parcels are undergoing site plan control simultaneously, which is the appropriate time to acquire such easements for these various purposes. And furthermore, when the parcels were subdivided last year, being 2025, Infrastructure Services did note that the easements may be required to develop the sites to address some of these items such as drainage, access, further servicing, etc. Now, aside from the requested variance, which I'll detail in the next slide, both parcels abide by the zoning bylaw, and I'll also detail a little bit about what's proposed for them as well. Next slide, please. Now, for the minor variance application, this is particular to the southern lot. So for the southern lot, the applicant is looking to construct a business office with a gross floor area of 1.1 thousand square meters and a parking area that accommodates 45 parking spaces. And this is highlighted in that red box below. Now, the applicant is requesting relief from section 11.9B of the zoning bylaw to request relief for the need to provide one on-site loading space, whereas one loading space would have been required due to the gross floor area of the structure that they are planning to construct. Now, the northern lot is proposed to have a drive-through financial institution and would accommodate roughly 35 parking spaces and has an on-site loading space, which has been highlighted in blue. And access to this loading space is intended to be provided through the easements that I previously detailed, being B01 and B0225. Next slide, please. Now, for any minor variance application, we have to go through the 4 tests of a minor variance under the Planning Act and the 2 tests prescribed by the Town of Essex official plan. And we found that these tests were maintained. We found that there was no policy conflict within the official plans. That's both the county and the Town of Essex official plan. And now going through the intent of the zoning bylaw, section 11.9 is used to regulate the amount of loading spaces required for a development based on the use and size of the building being constructed. However, it does not regulate the amount based on the type of commercial use. So it doesn't distinguish between your retail, your business office, your medical office, and so on. Now, the applicants have indicated that the need for the loading space is minimal, and access to a loading space will be provided on the northern property via the easement. And it's deemed minimal because they are going for a business office type of use. Now, furthermore, providing relief from this regulation will allow for the site to be maximized in its construction, and also allows the applicants to adhere to a parking ratio that they have to abide by that is greater than that of what the Town of Essex zoning bylaw prescribes. This parking ratio is put on the lands through an easement as well, and the applicants could detail that further if need be. And now the development will require further approval through site plan control under Section 41 of the Planning Act, which will allow for further consideration and control over the location of driveways, parking, loading, and garbage collection facilities. And this will ensure that traffic and any parking concerns that there may be are addressed on the site prior to any development as well. And now, in terms of the the development layout. This is also within a commercial corridor where there are many shared services, accesses, parking as well, such as loading spaces as well. Next slide, please. Now, all three applications were circulated to our internal and external agencies and property owners within 60 meters. Now, one comment was received from the County of Essex detailing that permits will be required prior to any construction, but no objections were expressed. These are typical comments acquired by the county, and they were technical in nature. And they will also be involved within the site plan control process. No further comments were received from any external or internal agencies, and no comments were received from the public to date. And now the planning department is recommending approval for both the consent applications with standard conditions for an easement. Next slide, please. And then lastly, the planning department is recommending approval for the minor variance application, conditional that the easement agreements be granted as well. Thank you.
Now we just go to the applicant. Do you have any comments that you'd like to make with regards to the application? And if so, go to the podium. Oh, thank you. And is there anybody from the public that want to speak to this application? Okay, I'm going to go to the committee and ask any questions. Doreen?
Through you, Mr. Chair. I'm just wondering what, and I'm sorry for not looking it up ahead of time and not being aware, what the south property, what's the zoning for the south property? And would it permit a use other than an office? Would it permit, for example, a restaurant or anything of that nature that would require loading? And also, if it does, is there any way that the owners would be prohibited from changing their mind once we approve this? Thank you.
Through you, Chair. The property to the south, so both properties do share the same zoning, and they are zoned Commercial District 1.1, which does permit a number of highway commercial corridor uses. And I can detail those in a little bit in one moment. But it also has a site-specific zoning provision, which allows for additional uses being a bake shop, a drive-through restaurant, drive-through food outlet, health studio, microbrewery, and veterinarian office, and a wholesale store. Now, if you just give me 1 second, I can pull up the exact uses within the C1.1 zoning district as well. So through you, Chair, the standard uses within a Commercial District 1.1 zoning district is a bed and breakfast dwelling, a business office, commercial school, daycare center, financial office, light repair shop, medical office, personal service shop, professional studio, retail store, restaurant, and takeout food outlet. Thank you.
Any other questions from the committee on any one of the three applications? No, hearing none. Hearing none, can I get a motion? Then I'll move them individually. A motion for B0126. Dan Sauvé?
To approve with the recommendations for administration.
Any questions to the motion? All in favor? Good, that passes. Can I now get a motion for B0226?
Approved, subject to the conditions outlined by administration.
Seconder? Doreen Lester? Any questions to the motion? All in favor? Approved. And last one. Yes, you may.
Sorry, just through you, Mr. Chair, one more question. So the parking, it's my understanding from the report that they're actually over on their required parking. Is that correct? So in theory, if they did in the future require a loading space based on the current municipal requirements, they could put one in if they chose to do so?
Through your chair, yes, they could revisit the site and to accommodate that if need be.
We just wouldn't have a trigger to force them to do it, right? Okay, thank you.
Read that application because we've already passed it too. Thank you. All right, so we have a motion. We have a seconder. Do we have a motion? No, we don't. Can I get a motion then for A0226? Phil Pocock?
To approve with conditions.
That passes. Thank you. All right. Moving on to 7.5 and 7.6 together. B0326 and B03826, sorry. 7969 County Road 18. All right. Ian, when you're ready, thank you.
Sure. The next application tonight is consent application B0326 and minor variance application A0326 for the property 7969 County Road 18. The property is designated agriculture on both the County of Essex official plan and Town of Essex official plan, and it is zoned agricultural district 1.1. And the property contains a significant amount of natural heritage features. However, the property does not contain any items identified under the Ontario Heritage Act. It is not located in a floodplain development control area, and it's not located within the Essex Region Conservation Authority's area. It currently contains a single unit dwelling and 3 accessory structures. Next slide, please. So the applicants are proposing to sever a 4-hectare parcel from the existing 7.7 hectare lot to be added to the adjacent property identified as 7985 County Road 18. And the retained lot, being the lot in green, is proposed to have an area of 3.7 hectares. And the applicant is proposing this consent for the purpose of a lot addition to support the agricultural uses on the receiving lands, being firewood collection and tree tapping. Here you can see the applicant's site plan detailing that the existing structures abide by the applicable zoning regulations. And the map on the right details the land to be conveyed. It's a little difficult to see, but you can see the arrows detailing that the land being conveyed is to the right or the east, if you will. Now, as a result of the severance, the lot area for the retained parcel will be reduced from 7.7 hectares to 3.7 hectares. And therefore, relief is required through section 13.1B2 of the zoning bylaw, which states that the minimum lot area for lots within agricultural districts is 40 hectares, or as existing. Next slide, please. Now, in consideration of the policies, the provincial planning statement and the County of Essex official plan both permit lot additions for legal and technical reasons when they do not create a new lot within an agricultural area. Now, this, as we know, it is a lot addition, and we have conditions to ensure that it remains as a lot addition and a new lot isn't created. And the County of Essex official plan delegates authority to make consent applications and decisions to us lower tier municipalities. And right now, there's no conflict within either the provincial planning statement or the County of Essex official plan. And the Town of Essex official plan currently supports the agricultural use, being the tree tapping, the firewood collection. And right now, there's no actual agricultural uses on the land at this time. So it's considered value added. It's increasing the land's use and potential through adding it to this new property. Now, we have consulted a third party regarding the natural heritage features. And because this isn't the creation of a new lot or considered development or site alteration under the PPS, it doesn't trigger any review of the natural heritage features or systems on the property. And then furthermore, we do have provisions in our zoning bylaw which prevent things such as clear cutting and so forth. So those systems do remain protected at this time. So, and then lastly, the only item it does not comply with is the zoning bylaw. However, I'll detail the minor variance policies in the next slide. So within the next slide, with any minor variance application, we go through the 4 tests of a variance and from the Planning Act and 2 tests from the official plan. And we found that as it is a result of a lot addition, and lot additions within agricultural areas are permitted so long as they aren't creating a new lot and they're considered minor. then they are satisfied. So in this case, there's no change in land use, and it's actually, sorry, correction, they are introducing an agricultural use to the property, and therefore it is supported through the official plan and both the zoning bylaw. Now, the retained lands is being reduced in size. However, it doesn't have any agricultural operations on it at this time. And so it is being reduced further, but we see it again because we're introducing the agricultural uses. We have no concerns with it, and we do believe it follows the intent. And then from there, the variance is considered compatible with the established character area. There'd be no visible change from the street. There'd be no changes to traffic or parking patterns. And then development patterns as well. You'll only notice a difference if it's on on a map or such. However, lots within this area vary greatly in size as well. All right, next slide, please. So the application was circulated to all internal and external agencies and property owners within 60 meters of the subject property. The County of Essex provided engineering comments only, which do not state any objections. No further comments were required. And this also includes comments provided from the public as well. Next slide, please. So the planning department is recommending approval subject to our standard conditions for a lot addition. I would like to note that the presentation does not contain one condition that I listed in the report. This condition is that the severed lands be consolidated with the receiving lands as typically required for a lot addition. And now, of course, the applicant has 2 years to fulfill these conditions. And then furthermore, we are also recommending approval for the minor variance application with no conditions. Thank you.
Thank you, Ian. Is there anybody in the audience that wants to speak to the application, make any comments? Hearing none, I'm going to go to the committee then for any questions. Matthew?
Yeah, thank you for the information. I thought I read that in the planning report that the proposed retained lot and the severed lot are owned by the same individual. Is that correct?
Through you, Chair, the applicant will have to confirm the ownership. Unfortunately, I can't recall it at this time.
Do we have the applicant here tonight, or?
Hey, folks. My name's Jason Brown. I am representing Jeremy and Megan Brown, the property owners. Both parcels are owned.
Excuse me, 1 second. We do have a question on the floor. We'll come back to you in a second. Okay. Just
Sure.
Want to clarify that. Yeah, no, I do know that, but we had a question on the floor. Do you want that question addressed to the applicant?
Confirmed.
Yeah. Jason, thank you.
So the question being that it's owned by the same individual, that is correct.
Okay, so I'm assuming then it's looking down the road for, looking into the future. This lot addition would play into the longer term plans of the current owner, because obviously if it's the same owner on both parcels, they can continue to tap trees and collect firewood because they own both properties. The question I have is for administration. The resulting lot shape would be highly irregular. It obviously fronts onto County Road 18, but it's just a very unusual shape. Does that cause you any kind of heartburn?
Through you, Chair, I don't have any concerns regarding the lot shape. The land that it's being conveyed to is already in an L shape, if I may. And it is something that we do experience within these agricultural areas. And so that is taken into account. However, for this, it's, from my understanding, there's no dwelling that's being constructed there. And right now it's only natural heritage features that are back there. I don't have too many concerns. And then also with the fact that there wouldn't be any visible change from the roadway as well. So that's where a little bit more is taken into account as well from my perspective. Thank you.
Anything further? Dan?
I would make a motion to approve with administration's recommendations.
Question, however, so before the motion, all right. Question to the applicant, maybe our administration. I'm not understanding if we have the same ownership on both properties. And I guess for clarity, the reason for the lot addition is so that you can start turning into agriculture for tapping, tree cutting and firewood. However, you can still do that on the existing property. I'm not sure what the purpose is then for, if this is the reason for the lot addition, there's really no change in the operations. You can do that now. So I just maybe get some clarity on my part.
Mr. Chair, so the reason being is that the property owners, if in the future they decide to sell the property at 7969, they would like to keep the wooded area, which is highlighted in those documents.
I guess I'm still confused. The wooded area, keep the wooded area. It is wooded now. And you'll just start to do some tree cutting, right? Is that the purpose of the purpose is strictly if you sell the property, you want to keep the wood lot, but yet my understanding is you wanted to do some tree tapping and firewood collection.
Continued, yes, which has been done up to this point. But in the event that if later down the road in the future, if Jeremy and Megan were to decide to sell the property at 7969, that they would be able to keep that back portion and have it connected to their to 7985 County Road 18.
Yes. Now can I, therefore, any other questions? No? Okay. Can I get a motion then for A0426? Motion.
Back to my motion to approve with administration's recommendations from the planning department.
$26. Doreen? We don't have a second run for yet.
Going before I ask my question, or? Because just a small point of order, I shouldn't we vote on, like, if there's a mover and a seconder on the one application, shouldn't that be voted on and then?
Absolutely right, and my mistake. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So if I may, I have a question on the motion, and that is just a simple clarification. Staff mentioned, and I couldn't track what was being said exactly, but one document doesn't include the condition to consolidate properties and another document does. I just want to make sure that the condition to consolidate properties is in the motion.
Yes. With the planning department's recommendations.
Thank you for the clarity. All in favor of the motion? Okay, thank you.
The minor variance.
Item 7.7, A0426, 213 Maidstone Avenue. Ian?
Chair, our next application tonight is A0426 for the property 213 Maidstone Avenue East, located in the primary settlement area of Essex Center. The property is designated residential in the Town of Essex official plan and is zoned residential district 1.1 under the Town of Essex zoning bylaw. The subject property does not contain any natural heritage features, items identified under the Ontario Heritage Act, and is not located in a floodplain development control area. And lastly, is not located within IRCA's regulated territory. The property currently contains a single unit dwelling and several smaller accessory structures in the rear yard. However, the applicant is constructing an accessory structure in the rear yard, but this is not the basis of discussion for today's minor variance application. Next slide, please. Now, the applicant is proposing to construct a porch along the front facade of the existing dwelling. The porch is proposed to have a width of 9 meters and a depth of 2.7 meters and a height that is less than 0.6 meters. Since the dwelling is located 6.5 meters from the front lot line, the porch, once constructed, will encroach 3.8 meters into the required front yard, leaving a distance of 3.8 meters between the porch and front lot line. Whereas Section 9.5I of the zoning bylaw allows a porch to encroach up to 2.5 meters into a required front yard when it is less than 0.6 meters in height. So here on the screen, you can see the applicant's renderings, their site plan, and an elevation of the front facade of the dwelling with the porch. I'll let you guys look at that for a moment as well. And then in a minute, Marcia can change the slide. Now, in reviewing the application or any minor variance application, we go through the 4 tests of the Planning Act and 2 tests from the official plan. And in reviewing the County of Essex official plan and the Town of Essex official plan, it is determined that the proposed variance application conforms to the respective policies and poses no conflict. Accessory structures and uses are considered supplementary to a dwelling and are recognized and permitted. However, the regulations are prescribed at the zoning bylaw level. Therefore, the intent is maintained. Now, the intent of Section 9.5 of the zoning bylaw is to regulate the ability of a use to encroach into a required yard based on the specific use and its size. Now, the need to regulate the encroachment rights for a porch into a required front yard is to provide flexibility in built form and to ensure the intent of the required front yard is maintained across all zoning districts. The reasoning for a required front yard is to ensure the main use of the property is properly distanced from a roadway as to maintain things such as sightlines, visibility of the street, ensure that in-ground and above-ground services remain undisturbed, and to provide a landscaped area and buffer. Now, infrastructure services has been circulated on the proposed application, and no concerns were identified regarding the encroachment and its proximity to public services. And they also highlighted no concerns regarding any potential impacts to sightlines or visibility of the street. Additionally, renderings provide that the applicant indicate that there will be no visual screening from the porch, which could hinder the ability for entering and exiting the site from a motor vehicle as well. Now, the front yard remains landscaped and exceeds the required value of landscaped area for lots within the R1.1 zoning district, and therefore the intent is maintained. Now, the variance is deemed minor as there's no anticipated impacts as a result of this encroachment, and the applicants will be required to apply for a building permit, which will ensure that the structure is constructed according to Ontario Building Code. Furthermore, the porch will allow the applicant to utilize their site to a greater degree than if the porch did not exist. Next, the variance is considered desirable as the porch remains supplementary to the main use, being the single-use dwelling, and it remains low density in character and is reflective of that of neighboring porches as well. Now, the neighboring single-unit dwellings along the northern side of Maidstone Avenue East vary in distance from the front lot line. Some of these dwellings contain porches, whereas this one, the dwelling is actually encroaching closer into the front yard as it was constructed prior to our current regulations, which prescribe a setback of 7.5 meters. Now, as I detailed earlier, the existing dwelling is 6.5 meters, so it's an entire meter closer, meaning that the porch has less of a distance it can encroach just because of where the house lies today. And from that, we're able to determine that it maintains the character and the circumstances are particular to the site. Next slide, please. Now, we've circulated the application to internal and external agencies and all neighbors within 60 meters. IRCA has expressed no concerns at this time, and they're the only individuals who have provided a comment from an agency perspective. And we have received one public comment expressing support for the application, and we have not received any at all at this time since posting of the report and presentation. Next slide, please. Now, the planning department is recommending approval, subject to the condition that the applicant obtains a building permit. Thank you.
Does the applicant wish to make any comments? Okay, thank you. Any questions from the committee? Matthew?
Yeah, I really appreciated the application packet. It was very easy to visualize what's proposed, and it'll be a really nice addition to the home if it gets approved. The planning report states that the County of Essex was circulated and they did not respond. Is that correct? Because they are quite responsive on many of our applications, reminding us of setbacks from center lines of county roads and all that. Thanks.
Yes, this is correct. They didn't, no response was provided. This was likely because it's within the town center and it's not connecting link. It's a connecting link. So that's where it transitions from county regulated to town. Yes, thank you.
The questions, can I get a motion for A0426? Doreen Lester.
Motion to approve.
And the last one, thank you for waiting, is 7.8 application A0526, 13 Alice Street North. And I will go to Ian to present this.
Thank you, Chair. Our last application tonight is A0526 for the property located at 13 Alice Street North, which is within a primary settlement area being Essex Center. The property is designated town center in the Town of Essex official plan and is zoned residential district 2.1 and the Town of Essex zoning bylaw. The property currently contains a single unit dwelling, and the applicant is looking to construct an addition to the existing single unit dwelling to accommodate an additional dwelling unit and expansion to the main dwelling. This addition requires relief from section 15.1B7 of the zoning bylaw, which requires a minimum rear yard depth of 7.5 meters, whereas the applicant is requesting relief to reduce the minimum required rear yard depth to 1.9 meters. Next slide, please. Now, the addition that the applicant is proposing will be 2 stories in height with a building height of 6.3 meters and will be located 1.89 meters from the rear lot line and 1.75 meters from the eastern southern interior lot line. Here we have the applicant's site plan on the left with the first floor plan in the middle and the second floor plan on the right-hand side. You can see in the floor plans that the first floor incorporates the additional dwelling unit and the second floor incorporates the addition to the main dwelling. We can leave that on screen for a moment if need be, or we can proceed to the next slide in just a moment. So here we also have elevation drawings provided by the applicant detailing every facade and the openings and fenestration as well for the addition. Next slide, please. Now, as required, the 4 tests of a minor variance under the Planning Act and 2 tests prescribed by the official plan were reviewed, and it is our opinion that all tests have been met. Now, the County of Essex official plan encourages flexibility in scale and form to support items such as additional dwelling units, and the County of Essex encourages flexibility in site standards that reduces non-hazardous setbacks to accommodate additional residential units, such as the one we see today. The Town of Essex official plan recognizes existing residential uses within lands designated town center, and delegates building regulations to the zoning bylaw and expansions to such use under section 9.5 of the official plan, which the use of this property as a dwelling and proposed addition to support an additional dwelling unit does not constitute a danger for the surrounding land uses, would not change the functionality of this site as it remains low-density residential. It conforms to the applicable zoning district, aside from what we are here for today. And the use is part of a larger grouping of sensitive land uses being low-density residential uses as well. Now, provisions respecting ADUs and their requirements to recognize the minimum rear yard setbacks were adopted by council in 2021 by way of a housekeeping amendment. At the time, the greatest concern for ADUs encroaching into the rear yard was maintaining privacy between neighboring land uses, followed by ensuring private amenity spaces were provided on site. Now, the proposed addition does encroach closer to the rear lot line, and as a result, the southern interior lot line. However, the neighboring lands consist of other commercial uses and their associated parking area. These commercial uses do not require the same privacy standards that a sensitive land use, such as a residential use, would require. And furthermore, these commercial uses also do not have a minimum rear or side yard setback and could encroach closer than they are today. So therefore, we believe these privacy concerns are, that there are no privacy concerns and that the application abides by this test as well. And then furthermore, amenity space is still provided to the northern side of the site as well. Now, the variance is considered minor as the addition is in response to a need to provide additional housing units and options within the town of Essex. Reducing the rear yard setback facilitates the development of the ADU in a feasible manner for the applicant, whereas accommodating the ADU further and further addition to the main dwelling would require considerable change to the existing dwelling and surrounding site. And the addition to the main dwelling is located in the rear of the property and will maintain the visible medium density character of the surrounding area. And the ADU will require on-site parking spaces, which have been provided. Therefore, there's no impacts to local traffic as a result of the ADU. And it's circumstantial to the site because we are dealing with a property that's already been previously developed. So it's residential intensification. Next slide, please. So we've circulated the application to our internal and external agencies and to the public within 60 meters of the property. We have not received any comments or objections from any agencies or the public at this time. Next slide, please. And then lastly, the planning is recommending approval, subject to our standard condition being that the applicant obtain a building permit. Thank you.
Mark, do you have any comments to your application? Thank you. Committee, do you have any questions? Phil, go ahead.
What is the lot coverage for like the building to the actual land used for water concerns? In the coverage area?
So through you, Chair, because this property has, or they're proposing an ADU, the lot coverage would that they're permitted to have is actually 45%, whereas this application, once constructed, would be a little over 41%. So it is permitted where it stands today.
Follow-up question. My thought of an ADU as a separate unit, not physically attached. To me, this is just an addition to a house. So is it, from my understanding, is there a difference now? Is it a separate building, or is it all going to be just house adjustment type size or whatever?
Additional dwelling units have always been permitted within buildings. You often see basement units or upper floor levels in a building that has 2 stories, but they could also be located in a completely separate detached structure on a lot that already has a single unit dwelling, for example. So this is still considered within character for an additional dwelling unit.
Good. All right. Any further? Go ahead, Matthew.
Planning report states that there were no comments received from the circulated folks in the vicinity of the subject site at the time of writing of this report. That's still the case. There's been nothing received.
That is correct.
Thank you.
Question? Good. All right. Any further questions? No? Can I get a motion then for A0526?
Motion approved with administration, the planning department's recommendations.
And to 7.9, to receive the planning presentations for the committee of adjustment for the regular meeting for February 18th, 2006. Doreen, motion. Phil, seconder. Any comments to that? No, thank you very much. All in favor? Good. And finally, I need a motion for adjournment. Dan Sauvé and Matthew Child. All in favor? We're out of here.